Ladies and gentlemen of the Duchess Theatre, how are you? Are you all right? Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, ladies and gentlemen. It is an absolute pleasure to see so many of you. My name is Nish Kumar. I'm about to do a comedy show, and I am a comedian, so that's very convenient, right? Now, listen, for those of you who are unaware of my oeuvre, I have an oeuvre. I don't know what you're laughing at. I'm a very specific type of comedian. I am what's known within the comedy industry as a critically acclaimed comedian. Yeah, so you're fucking welcome, okay? Critically acclaimed comedian, what does that mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means I use a lot of long words, I get very good reviews in broadsheet newspapers and nominated for awards at the Edinburgh Festival. And then outside of the Edinburgh Festival, no one comes. Very poor ticket sales, guys. Last year, one of my UK tour dates had to be cancelled for personal reasons, and those personal reasons were, we sold 4 tickets. Pretty bad. So when I say it's good to see you, I mean it is a relief to see you. And I mean that emotionally and frankly, financially as well. God damn it. So, let's get into it. It's great to be back in London. This is my hometown. I live in London. I live in the west of London, in a part of London called Shepherd's Bush. I've not lived there for very long. And when I moved there, the estate agent that I ran my flat from said, "Hey, this is a great time for you to be moving to Shepherd's Bush." And I said, "Why?" And he said, "Well, the area has been recently gentrified." Now, listen, fair play, I did not know what that meant. So I looked it up. It turns out what it means is it's now safe for white people. So come on down to Shepherd's Bush, whiteys. We'll have a great old time. We got all the stuff you like. Tea. Yeah. Of course, that's not what gentrification means. I know what it means. I'm a very clever boy. Gentrification is when people get priced out of an area by a rising cost of living, so they move to an adjacent area, but in doing so, raise the cost of living for people who are already living there. It's a phenomenon that in recent years has been described as white flight, because the people moving tend to be white, and the areas they're moving into tend to be non-white. And as such, it's a double-edged sword for your friend Nish Kumar here, because my parents are Indian and middle class, so gentrification is essentially the replacement of people I'm related to by people I went to university with, so it's like... Goodbye, Uncle and Auntie, but hello, Jeffrey! See you down the pub for some craft beer. We've got a lot of Indian pale ales, just no Indians. And it's a subject that arouses very strong, very serious emotions. There's been anti-gentrification protests all over the world. And they started in London. Last year, in East London, there was a massive anti-gentrification protest conducted by a group called Class War. Now, the focus of the protest, Bethnal Green, and a shop within Bethnal Green called the Serial Killer Cafe, which is a cafe where people sell bowls of cereal in milk for £6 to morons. Presumably, it's an exclusively moron clientele. Now, the reason they said that they were targeting the Serial Killer Cafe was they were protesting against the hipsterification of East London. And hipsterification and gentrification are sometimes used as synonyms for each other. Hipsters get the blame for gentrification. Now, I don't think that that's fair, and ultimately I think it's counterproductive. Firstly, what is a hipster? It's just the collective noun we've given to people who conform to what's currently trendy. Every generation has them. In the 60s, they were hippies. In the 70s, they were punks. In the 80s, they were new romantics. Hipsters are just our version of that thing. And we all know what I mean when I say what's currently trendy. It's restaurants where the menu's on a board and there's no currency printed, so you have to be like, oh, I'll have poached eggs for 8 money, I guess. In sartorial terms, it's the juxtaposition of the mundane with the ostentatious. So you wear a plaid shirt, but then you have a face tattoo of a dog high-fiving a unicorn or some shit. I was in the hipster bit of Melbourne earlier this year, in the most hipster shop I've ever been in my life. All it sold was notebooks with old maps on them. Who needs that? No one! Anyway, I was in there buying 5 because I'm very much part of the problem. But... and the guy in front of me was wearing dungarees. Just an adult man wearing full dungarees. And initially I was like, oh, cool, brother, you do you. But then he turned around and it turned out he'd undone the button here so the flap was open so that you could see underneath he was wearing a t-shirt with Donald Duck on it. And I was like, what the fuck is that? That's an aesthetic that can only be described as agricultural baby? It's weird. It's the trend for men to have very ornately sculpted moustaches. Have you seen these guys with the twirly moustaches? You seen them? Yeah, fine, as long as they're not white men. Because that makes white men look like Victorian English men. I cannot tell you the number of times I've been forced to order a coffee from a man whose facial hair looks like it colonized my ancestors. Like, the guy's like, do you want something with your coffee? And I'm like, yeah, a piece of banana bread and an apology for the Amritsar massacre, thank you! Listen to the Indians clap, white people, we're still not over it!